Are there DC law enforcement officials involved in sex trafficking missing African American children? Families have brought up the idea that police might be complicit in many cases of missing DC girls. These families have been accused of spreading a, quote, conspiracy theory, and some media outlets suggest that they should not be so alarmed. The theory is that many children of color are missing in Washington, D.C. We know this to be true, and it might be connected to human trafficking. And furthermore, the police and possibly politicians might be involved in human trafficking and covering it up. In what follows, I analyze the theory and also include only the known data to determine whether it has any merit. Publicly verifiable data number 1, Laura Sibley. She was incarcerated in 2010 for kidnapping multiple children of color from Haiti. A total of 33 children were kidnapped. Publicly verifiable data number 2, Laura Sibley's name was changed to Laura Gaylor, and she later became the CFO of AlertSense in 2011, an organization that provides technology to push Amber Alerts to the public. Publicly verifiable data number 3. Amber Alerts were not pushed when multiple children of color began missing in Washington, D.C. In this video clip that I'm about to play, D.C. Chief of Police Newsham confirms that indeed there are many missing girls in Washington, D.C., and that Amber Alerts were indeed not pushed. He later added that the reason for the absence of Amber Alerts is that there was no evidence of immediate danger, a claim that many families, including myself, find dubious.
I'll talk a little bit about human trafficking, and I know that Felicia's going to talk about it as well. There are multiple ways that human trafficking can occur with young people. Whenever we get a child who's gone missing, we try to conduct an interview with the kid. We try to look at their family circumstances. And if there's any indication of human trafficking, then we provide services to that child to make sure that they don't get themselves in a very dangerous position.
How do you define human trafficking?
Human trafficking can occur in multiple ways. A lot of people think that human trafficking is only a circumstance where somebody actually snatches somebody off the street. And don't get me wrong, that can occur because there are predators out there. But what's more likely to occur with a young person is it could be a family situation where somebody in the family, a family member, an uncle, a brother, a friend of the family, thanks for shutting that up. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. Nobody who's sitting up on this stage with a uniform on, or anybody in this audience who's wearing this uniform, wants to have anybody that's involved in that type of behavior. And my position on somebody like that is they need to go to jail. It doesn't matter if they wear a badge or not. And he went to jail. One killed himself, and one went to jail.
All right, so let's pause for a second and briefly summarize what we have established so far. Now, what we have is an individual who was arrested for kidnapping multiple children of color from Haiti, and that same individual now works for an organization responsible for distributing Amber Alerts. Multiple children of color have gone missing in D.C., and of course all across the nation, but we're going to stick with DC here. And Amber Alerts have not been distributed in those cases of missing children. Are the police somehow complicit in any of this? Let's see. Publicly verifiable data number 4. DC Chief of Police Newsham has a reported history of mishandling a case of child rape. An 11-year-old child was raped by multiple men. Veronica, the child's mother, states that Chief Newsham, who was an assistant chief at the time, was very deceitful and mishandled the case. She stated the following to a reporter: "Did Peter Newsham lie to you? In my opinion, he did. Is Peter Newsham a liar? In my opinion, he is. Did Peter Newsham ruin your daughter's life? He did more than ruin my daughter's life. My husband, myself, family members, close friends. It's been 8-9 years and we're not over it." Publicly verifiable data number 5. DC police have a reported history of being directly involved in running a pedophile ring linked to child prostitution and the production of child pornography. Linwood Barnhill Jr., a veteran of the DC Police Department, was exposed by the Free Thought Project for running a child sex ring outside of his house. In 2014, in an early morning search warrant issued for his Southeast DC apartment, found a 15-year-old girl who had previously been reported missing by her parents. When police rescued the girl, she told officers that she had met 6 other girls inside the Southeast DC apartment who told her that they were also being prostituted, including with ads posted on Backpage.com. Barnhill also took naked photos of the girls, purportedly for the use in advertisements for sex. This, quote, isolated incident is the second one of its kind for the DC police. In just 2 days, Officer Mark Washington, a 7-year veteran of the force, was charged with production of child pornography on accusations that he took nasty photos of a 15-year-old girl. Furthermore, later on in the footage I showed you earlier, families highlighted the fact that DC police have been involved in sex crimes related to minors, which Chief Newsham appears to acknowledge in moments before shifting to another question.
My position on somebody like that is they need to go to jail. It doesn't matter if they wear a badge or not. And he went to jail. One killed himself, and one went to jail. Yeah. All right, thanks for sharing that, man. But I think a lot of people came out here really to hear about how we...
Real quick, we're gonna, hey ma'am, and everybody, I promise you, our voices will be heard today. But allow him to answer the question first. Allow him to answer the question, and then before you ask it.
So
Could you answer that question, sir?
I think she's talking about 2 circumstances. We had circumstances with police officers that were involved in manipulating young girls. One of them went to jail. One of them killed himself. And I can tell you that's not something we're going to tolerate on the Metropolitan Police Department. It's an embarrassment to the badge. Thanks for bringing that up. There could very well be, if there could be others out there that we want to know about, so we can get that taken care of.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, okay, let's just do this real quick. Your anger is real. My anger is real. We have a right to be angry. We're worried about our kids. That is evident. But what I've known is that when people start to scream, other people shut down. Now listen, I'm gonna hold people accountable as much as you are, but we have to let him talk so we can actually hear if he's gonna hold himself accountable.
Now, summing everything up, we have an individual who was incarcerated for kidnapping multiple children of color, is working for the organization that distributes Amber Alerts. Then we have multiple children of color going missing in DC, and Amber Alerts for their disappearances were not distributed. And we also have DC officers that have documented history of reports for child sex crimes. So I have a few important questions. Why is Laura Sibley, a convicted kidnapper, involved in an organization responsible for the distribution of Amber Alerts? Number 2, Who in the hell is responsible for negotiating the release of Laura Sisley from Haiti after she was caught with 33 children who didn't belong to her? Did any U.S. politician try to get her released? And if so, who was it? And why did they do it? Number 3, we have Amber Alerts not being activated and distributed after so many children have gone missing in D.C.? Yeah, that's a question. Number 4, why is a police chief with a history of reported mishandling of child rape now in charge of finding missing D.C. children? Number 5, why is it that multiple D.C. police have been involved in reports of child sex trafficking, child prostitution, or child pornography? None of the data that I presented is founded on empty speculation. It is all available to be verified.